All right, so this is it.
Damn! That lighting, though?
Oh, yeah. I think we look pretty good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin... Dude, get this out of here, man.
I'm sorry. Is that on the screen? Shot? Couple bites. Nothing in it.
This is how you're going to come at me, dude? I can't have you getting raspy, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I need that.
Where else have you seen these bottles, you know?
Like fancy restaurants, dude.
Thank you very much. Thanks for saying that so I didn't have to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is the Fully Nuking Podcast, episode 3. If you don't know me, my name is Ben Gravy, and I am here with, drum roll please, Mac Dog Millionaire.
Yep.
He's known for a lot of things. This is Zayn Makki, Mac Dog Millionaire, Mackie for short. What else?
Zayn is my first name. You can just call me Zayn.
Okay. I call Zayn a lot of things, but Zayn, a lot of you guys probably know Zayn from filming and being a very charismatic cast member of the Ben Gravy vlog channel. So, it's great to have you, Zayn.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Ben.
What were you doing before this?
I was at work.
Doing what?
I was configuring computers and getting ready to send them out.
What does that mean, dude?
Do you want me to go into this right now? Or we...
Like, not, you don't have to go. Just okay, if this is like the cake of configuring computers, just like...
I was installing my parents' software, testing it with the devices we have to hook them up to, and then getting them ready to send up to New York to make some money.
So you're not just a pretty face.
Not just a pretty face.
There's a little bit of wisdom behind those eyes.
Yeah.
You love to hear it. Okay, so I met Mackie. I want to say like over a year ago now.
About, yeah.
Is that proper? Correct. So I believe the first time I ever saw you was in like North Jersey. When you rolled up and I filmed you on my phone.
Yeah, I had your beanie on and everything. I remember that.
So the first time I ever saw Mackie, he was rocking. Was it the Ben Gravy beanie?
Yes.
Okay, so he was rocking the Ben Gravy beanie. I saw this kid out the window, and he was just at the side of the car, just throwing me some. Were you even doing that?
I think I was in the shock at
or
that
am I
time.
just like imagining?
I think it was a shock.
So he's going. The first memory I have of this kid, he has a full blown like
full mustache,
Narcos mustache, and he's going, "Yeah, Ben." Yeah, Ben. And I was like, well, this guy's a god. And I believe you actually got a couple of clips of me.
I did that day, yeah.
Shakes McGee.
Yeah, that was when I was all time shaky. I remember I got clips of all the boys that day, and every one was like so shaky.
So that might have been like January, February.
Yeah, it was January.
Okay, January. So the next time I saw this kid was another swell. When Greaser, LBI. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he was walking up on the beach and he had his pajamas on, which obviously you guys have grown to recognize and know Mackie for rocking his PJs out.
I like to be comfortable.
And, yeah, so me and Jordan thought that he might have been a drug addict or something. Hanging out on the beach in PJs. And then we realized he was down there filming. So we were like, this guy's a god. And then, so... You sent me footage from that day too, or no?
Yeah, but what really got us like together, I remember you moved here, and I remember a couple months after you moved here, I messaged you and I was like, "Dude, I'm your neighbor. If you ever need me to film for you."
Is that how it happened?
Yeah, that's how it happened. That's where we could go back on our messages and you could like bring up the first one.
Damn, I don't know. That would take
a while, but
I mean, we could try it, but
we don't gotta do it right now.
But here's what I want to know. I moved here. I found this house and I was vlogging it.
Yeah.
And that's how you found out about it?
I remember I saw it in the vlog and I was like, dude, that's around the corner from my house. Like.
And that was, but you lived in the other house.
Yeah, the one that was right around the corner.
Which is, and I remember I actually thought you lived on the corner of our street, but, so you see it on the vlog, you hit me up, and what did I say?
I think you just said like something like epic and then something like short, and then you hit me up a couple of days later to film
Like
a
a
Slammo
shotgun.
or something like that. Or we filmed Skeleton Bay the first time, and then after that you just kept hitting me up to film.
What was our first official film session? Because
Skeleton Bay. Remember when you asked me to get up on that rock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. This is good. So I remember having like the moment in my head where the vlog got to the point where I was like, okay, I want to have someone that I see as like, I don't want to say full time, obviously, because like I can't afford to pay Mackie a full time salary, but he's like my go to guy, I would say. And I remember just being like, dude, this kid like lives literally around the street from me. He's gonna be the best dude to hit up the film out Slammo. Plus you're Grom. I mean, it's hard to hit up like 30-year-old dudes
Yeah,
and be
that's
like,
true.
yo, do you want to film 2 foot waves at Slammo?
That's very true.
So Mackie came out, he slayed it. The shakes, I want to say the shakes got better, but I'm not sure if they did.
I think they did with this new tripod. I mean, we'll see. We'll continue to see.
See,
Yeah,
so I moved my chair and it just
flickered.
So no, I'm just kidding. Mackie has improved a lot, but yeah, the first time that we went out and filmed, So why did you tell me about like your seizures?
I don't know. I remember. I guess I wanted to tell you earlier or something. I think you said something about me
Just get it out of the
smoking.
way.
No, I think you said something about me smoking in the vlog, and I was like, I like took offense. I was like, dude, like, come on, like, I got my medical card. I have epilepsy, like, and then you asked me to get up on the rock the same session. You were like,
And-
dude, I don't want you to have a seizure.
But at that point in time, you didn't realize that I was just fucking with you.
I mean, I knew you were fucking with me.
Okay.
I always knew you were fucking with me.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sarcastic, but there's always times, I guess, when you meet people that you gotta feel out the situation. But I asked Mackie, I was like, dude, would you mind getting up on this rock and getting like a bird's eye view shot? And then I had realized, like, when he was climbing down the rock, he told me that he has like epileptic seizures. Is that what they're called?
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I did not just ask this guy to get up on a rock, like 6 feet in the air and film us. But thankfully, he didn't have a seizure. And then from there, it's pretty much just been like a Disney movie.
Pretty much, we've just been living the dream.
All right. Like before we get too deep, because there's some serious questions I want to ask Mackie, but like, so you could say that we've been working together for a year, right?
Yeah.
What tell me a couple of your highlights. Like,
A couple of highlights.
yeah,
I'd say the trips. France was probably the top of them.
France number 1.
Florida wave pool, sick. Michigan was really funny. Alaska was awesome too.
Forgot about Michigan.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We had a few trips.
So you put France and then Typhoon Lagoon after that.
Yeah.
What was so special?
I mean, I got to surf my first ever wave pool, first of all, which
That
is
was
for
sick.
free. I got actually paid to do it, which not many, like we said that day, not many people can say that.
Like, to get paid $140, you pretty
Yeah.
much got paid $70 a wave.
Pretty much, yeah. 2 waves,
Look at it
1
that
for
way.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that was sick.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, like, just to get it out in the open, you know, and get it out into the universe, like, when I get on the other side of the camera, like, I nail your shots.
Oh yeah, I know. I've got plenty of shots from you, dude.
No shakes.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
mean, maybe a little bit shakes in some of them, but
But yeah, cool. Good to know. So Typhoon Lagoon. I can't wait to actually take you to a real wave pool. Then that's gonna be
maybe
solid.
Slater's one day. Who knows?
That would be amazing. Actually, me and Mackie, if you guys remember, probably some of you don't, but we went to a cancer benefit this past
That
summer.
was yeah.
I want to hear this in your words, though.
You talking about the one in Scripps or whatever?
Yeah.
What about it?
The whole
That was
after
really fun.
party wave pool.
That was really fun. I mean, that was definitely a fun time. I was literally drinking on the job.
So what I'm thinking of specifically in my head is like we were with Turtle, which is mind blowing enough.
That time I
dude.
forgot about that.
And Turtle, like the Kelly Center wave pool comes up in the raffle, and Turtle is always getting us to try to get us to go in on the raffle. And what it was like $5,000, $6,000. It kept going up, and I was betting. Turtle was betting, and it got to like $13,000. and I bet it. And I remember Mackie going, "Dude, I'm in. Like, let's go. I'll put money in. Keep going."
I was so hyped, dude. I was so hyped.
But eventually, this college surf team beat us out, and they got to go to Kelly Slater's wave pool for like only $20,000,
which is epic.
We almost had it. Yeah, that was good times. And that was your first Mai Tai experience.
Yes, it was. First time I ever had a Mai Tai.
What a god! All right, so it's time.
Is it?
To dive deep. So, one of the things I've learned about Mackie through our year-long friendship, working relationship, long car rides, plane rides, we talk a lot. We talk a lot of story. And I've come to find that Mackie has, in fact, died. Like, straight up died. On multiple occasions. But what we're going to do right now is I'm pretty much just going to pass the mic over because I don't want to interrupt the story. And Mackie's going to dive deep. Go like, if you will, I would appreciate it if you go full detail.
Yeah, I'm probably going slowly and trying to get everything in there.
So this is the story about how Mackie died.
All right, so I'm taking everybody back to 2015. Graduated high school in June. Going to San Diego State University, I pretty much felt like a big dog, obviously, like loving life, going out there my freshman year.
So
what?
Where'd you go to school?
Mainland.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year? 2015?
2015 I graduated.
Sorry.
So I go out to San Diego State, get there in like early September, late August, living my life, you know what I mean? Like pretty much living the absolute dream. Freshman in college, couldn't be any more happier. And I obviously made a few friends down there. This kid is really pretty important in this story. His name is Federico. He was an international student from Costa Rica. I pretty much always would just like drink with him, surf with him, like smoke with him and everything. And in November, I remember the waves were like not too good in San Diego for a while. Pretty much like San Diego's always big crowds, small waves, like it sucks. But we wanted to plan a surf trip down in Mexico, and Federico had like some friends down there or something that said like it was kind of firing and like there was a point break that we could go to. So it was like a last second trip. I remember it was a Thursday we planned on going.
So wait, how long into school were you?
This is November. I've been there for what? September, October. I've been there for 2 months. This is early November.
So not very long.
Not very long. Like I'm pretty sure I just finished my midterms right before this happened.
So just out of curiosity, like what was your major actually?
Electrical engineering.
Okay. Got it.
And so yeah, we like planned it all out on a Thursday. Neither of us had a car because I came from Jersey, he came from Costa Rica. Like we both did not bring our cars with us. So he hits up one of his like older friends from the school. I'm not gonna say his name, but he has a car. And he said he'd be down to take us, like surf with us and everything down there. So next morning it's a Friday, and I'll never forget the date. It was November 13th on a Friday the 13th.
No way.
Yeah, my mom literally would never let me live that down ever. But
Damn,
so I remember like it's not too early in the morning, probably around like 10 o'clock. He comes pick me up from my dorm. Federico's already in the car. He pulls up in like one of those Fiat box cars, like you know what I mean, those like tiny little box cars, and
trying to picture it. Does it look like a mini something, like kind of?
Like not like a mini coupe, but like you know those box type cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna look at it right now.
Yeah. Just look up Fiat box car.
All right, we're getting the real visual. I'm gonna share this with you guys too. This one.
Yeah, I mean that looks like a new one, but
this one.
Like yes, it's something exactly like that. Like that.
Okay.
Like might have been the exact same car, different color. But I made it think like, dude, how are we gonna fit everything in this car and us? So we managed to do it. Put everything in the car. Federico was in the passenger seat. I'm in the back right passenger seat, right behind Federico. Like I remember the boards were like on my shoulder and the door was on my shoulder. Like I was like as squished as you could possibly be in like the back of this car.
So like 2 dudes in the front, 1 back seat, all the boards.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just like sitting there and squished in the back where I got like book bags, everything. And so this in my memory, I'll give it to my memory first. We take off. It was about like a 30-minute drive down to the border. We get to the border and the border was a pain. So the driver, I'm not gonna mention his name again. He did not have his registration on him for God knows what reason. So we got caught up in the border for about like 30 minutes to an hour. My one boy Federico.
Getting in?
Yeah, getting in. because we didn't have a registration and they were just like being real tough on us.
Yeah.
My one boy Federico like spoke Spanish, and I always just remember he was like rambling in Spanish to these guys and somehow got us to go through. And in my memory, that was the last thing I remember. I woke up literally about like almost 2 weeks later in the San Diego hospital with my dad, my mom, and my sister next to me. That's my memory. But like obviously I'm gonna have to go back and tell you everything like I've heard from everything from Federico specifically. So like right after we got past the border, we must have been on the road for maybe 5 minutes on the highway when the driver, we were apparently coming around like a bend, and there was a van parked broken down on the side of the road with like a mechanic right in front of him trying to fix the car. He clips the van, and the car, like, I'm pretty sure the car slid out, then a car from behind us hit like my door or something like that, and I just got like head whipped straight into the boards. I like broke my skull here, and here. And like I know, obviously don't remember the accent at all, but in Federico, do you have a question real quick? You want to say something?
I was trying to like understand the accident.
So like we're coming around a bend, and there was a van parked like right around the bend with like a car in front of him, and the car was a mechanic trying to fix the car.
Like,
so we're coming around like flying like on the highway.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's coming around.
Yeah, and he clips the van on the passenger side, so we like slid out.
That way.
Yeah.
So you were on the right side of the car.
I was on the right side. So the way we slid out, the car from behind us hit my side.
Okay.
And I obviously don't remember it at all, but Federico said right after the accident happened, they were both in the front seat, and the driver said, like, is everybody okay? Federico said he's all right. No word from the back seat. They said they turned around to see me, cough up a bunch of blood, and just fall unconscious, like, right away.
Holy shit.
So Federico said he had to jump out of his window because none of the doors were open at all. They got to my window, like, looked at me, saw my head. I was cut from, like, here all the way up to, like, inside my like hairline, like just like gushing blood. So he sat there holding my head until like the ambulance got there. Hold on a second. So ambulance gets there. It's like a big scene. Obviously, there was 4 cars involved in the crash. The 2 that were parked, the one that hit us, and ours. I was by far the most one hurt out of everybody. And ambulance gets there. They have to go through the trunk of the car to get me because like none of the doors are working. They get me out. I remember Federico told me like I was coming in and out of consciousness, and like one of the few things he heard me say, and mind you, this is like 11 in the morning in Tijuana, like blasting heat, hot as like could be. I go, I'm feeling really cold, like middle of the day, hot as could be, and like he said he got like real worried and stuff.
So you were like you spoke.
Like I was coming in and out of consciousness, like for the start, yeah.
Wow.
So they put me into the ambulance, and as I'm pointing to the ambulance, the cops are there arresting the driver because he was involved in a car accident with somebody going to the hospital. So Federico comes with me to make sure I'm going to be all right. And the driver goes to the police station, the Tijuana police station, mind you. And I'm going to the public Tijuana hospital, to the emergency room.
The last place you want to be on earth.
Yeah. So when we get there, Federico said I fell back unconscious in the car, and I was like completely out pretty much. He called my parents once we got into the hospital, told them pretty much everything what happened. My dad immediately bought a plane ticket to come out. I'm pretty sure it took like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours to get out there. And Federico walks back into the ER where I'm sitting, and he said it was a room meant for about 20 people, and there's about 50 people in there sitting in plastic chairs and on beds with a few doctors running around trying to tend to everybody. And he said he saw me like in the corner of the room, on a bed with nobody near me. My whole half face was completely swollen. Like my eye was like swollen shut. Like, you know what I mean?
So are you out?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm completely out.
Are you in a bed?
Yeah, in a bed.
Okay.
Completely out. And then some like people come up to Federico and tell him like they gotta take down my information. So he goes out to take the information and everything. And I think this is funny. He told me when they took his information, they put out a typewriter to take all his information down. And like he obviously started bugging once he saw that and everything. And he said right after that, like the doctors told him I was in an induced coma. They like pumped because my brain was bleeding like pretty heavily. So they just pumped me with like so many drugs that I was just like out. And then Federico tried to like go out into Mexico to get some bank to try to get some money out to get me back to San Diego. And he said like every bank he went to, his card was getting declined and nobody was giving him any money. And he was like walking around with blood all over his shirt, like pretty much looking like a complete like crazy dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to stay there that night in Tijuana, and then the next day, Federico starts talking to my parents again. And mind you, all this time the driver's still in jail, and in the Tijuana police station. He actually had 48 hours before he had to go to actual prison, and what he had to do to get out, I had to wake up and say I'm not pressing charges, and they weren't gonna let him go pretty much anyway else, and I'm in a coma, so it's like, you know what I mean?
So, how long did you have to spend at the hospital?
In Tijuana,
Yeah.
like almost 2 days, about 2 days.
So you were essentially they put you in a coma.
Yeah.
Which is a medically induced coma.
Yes.
You obviously have massive head trauma. Your brain's bleeding.
Yes.
Your friend
It's trying to get me out of there.
can't do anything.
Yeah, can't do a thing.
Still covered in blood.
Yeah, still covered in blood.
Holy shit, dude.
He said he like slept in the hospital that night, and then next morning he's when like he started talking to my parents again. They, I'm very thankful for my parents for this. They dished out a lot of money to get a helicopter to come down to Tijuana and get me out of there and bring me back to UCSD.
Wow.
But the reason why I was there for 2 days is because it took so long for them to even get ready to come down. Once the sun set, they had to bail because apparently in Tijuana they're not allowed to fly in and out at nighttime, which is like the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
So I had to wait till the next morning when they got me. So the next morning, like at the crack of dawn, the helicopter comes, picks me up, and apparently Tijuana was not trying to let me go. So they literally just like ran up in the room and grabbed me, could not grab any of my paperwork or anything, and just bring me to UCSD hospital. And Federico at that time could not go into the helicopter because he had to obviously go back through customs like the normal way. So he goes over to the police station where the driver is, still there, and the cops are telling him that's going to be a $10,000 bail for him to get out unless if I say that I'm not going to press charges. So he pretty much just realized, well, I can't do anything about that, and he left. But thankfully for the driver, his mom came down with like a lawyer and everything and like fought for him to get out of there. But
Dude, I'm so in this right now. Like, I'm living it, like picturing everything.
But yeah, so I land down in UCSD. This is only like 2 days after the accident. I'm still in a full coma where the doctors have no idea what Mexico put into me because they could not get any paperwork. They like don't know how long I'll be out for or anything. So I go into multiple surgeries. I remember I was told I had an 8-hour brain surgery, which was somewhat minor. Like it wasn't a major surgery, but still like brain surgery for 8 hours is pretty gnarly. They like cleaned out my lungs completely because I guess they were covered in blood. Yeah,
right?
covered in blood. And I got some like hip surgery too. I think they just like, I don't know what they did back there. Maybe emptied out some fluids back there or something. But those were like the 3 main surgeries I got. Obviously, I was out for like, I think 11 days, 12 days. I had the breathing tubes in me, like everything, all jacked up in me.
So, in the coma, they have you in a coma with breathing. You were on the respirator.
Yeah, I was.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like you weren't breathing for yourself.
No.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
dude.
So like I'm out for a while, like, and I remember Federico was just telling me he would always go like back from class and forth to like see me at the hospital, and every time it was just like I was getting a little better, but like still like out and out. And he said the day I woke up, well, I remember the day I woke up, obviously, but the day I woke up was like actually pretty bugging, because I woke up with my dad.
He says.
I woke up with my dad right next to me, and my mom and my sister, and like, I remember I looked at them, and I was just like, my dad immediately tried to start calming me down, like telling me like you were in an accident and like everything. And one of the first things I said to them was, I just can't wait to go home and see Ozzy, which was my cat. My cat died when I was in 8th grade. So, like, for picture, this is about 5 to 6 years after my cat died.
So,
And I'm thinking that the cat's still alive. And, like, I remember they literally all looked at me. And they were, like, saying, like, Ozzy's been dead for a while. And I remember I broke down into, like, tears, like, feeling like it was the first time I've ever heard that. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, wow.
Like, it was gnarly. It was super gnarly.
Dude, I have chills, by the way. Just
But,
heavy.
and then, yeah, I just had to stay in the bed for a while. They, like, pretty much just, like, nursed me back onto my feet. I remember one thing that was pretty crazy too was when the first time I walked, they like brought a walker in for me, and I remember I looked at it and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm gonna just get up and I'm gonna walk like completely fine." And they were like, "I'll be careful if I were you." I went to stand up and I fell like straight, like the second I put my feet on the ground, I like collapsed.
No, dude.
Yeah, like I literally could not like it. Dude, I had to walk around the hospital like multiple times with a walker just to get like my feet like my legs like back to like normal. You know what I mean?
That's the gnarliest thing.
And then yeah, obviously right after that, like, I pretty much just went straight to school, got all my stuff out of my dorm. And once I was released, it took a while for
How long were
them.
you in the hospital?
A week, maybe like another week.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. I think at least. I'm not too sure. I don't
Well,
remember.
I guess like when it's like the main thing that was wrong with you was
My
like,
brain. Yeah.
massive concussion.
Yeah, because I like broke my skull in 3 different spots. Those were like the only.
And like they can't really, like at a certain point, it's like just up to you.
Yeah, at a
to
certain
heal.
point, if it's, I think it's like a mental thing. If I'm like visibly okay, like you know what I mean. But
Wow.
So yeah, I got all my stuff, and obviously I'd missed class for the past 2 weeks, and this was like the funny thing too. Like once I went home, I emailed all my teachers, like saying like told them everything that happened. Was thinking everybody would be super nice about it, and maybe like try to let me like pass it by sending me some work I could do and like somehow pass the class somehow. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so I had 5 different teachers. 3 of them didn't even answer my email. When I'm telling them I was in a coma for 2 weeks, I'm sorry. Like,
Wow.
yeah, 3 of them straight up did not answer my email. 2 of them, like one of them was kind of like a bitch about it, completely honest. Like said like that I wasn't doing too good in the class or whatever, and like I'm probably not gonna be able to pass anyway. The only one teacher that really tried to help me out was like sent me some work, told me to send her back all the papers I had already, and she tried to get me to pass the class, but I ended up having to withdraw every single class. So 5 W's did not pass one of them at all, but that doesn't like matter that much.
I would say nah, compared to having your life.
Yeah.
But imagine, like
the story still continues like a little bit.
Some of those teachers probably just thought like it was so unbelievable that you just made it up.
The funniest thing is I remember one of the teachers I remember I'll never forget like the first day I went to this class. It was a big biology class, and like the teacher was saying, if you ever guys miss a lot of class, unless you have a real reason, and he even gave examples of how like some of his students have like had some crazy injuries where they couldn't go to class. That was one of the teachers that never answered my email.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like in shock. But
unreal.
yeah, I ended up having to talk to the dean to get all the W's, which doesn't matter. It's not like a fail, so it never looked bad. But the way like it continues is like the epilepsy we were talking about at the start all came from this accident. So like I was on when I came home, they put me on anti-seizure medication, and about like a couple weeks after I was home on the medication, I had a seizure in my house. And again, this is another thing with my memory. I remember I just fainted, woke up in the ambulance going to AC hospital from my Northfield house, and they like hit me with a bunch of questions once I woke up. They were like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Zayn." They were like, "Do you know where you are?" I'm like, "Yeah, like in New Jersey or like in an ambulance." And they were like, they hit me with this question. They go, "Do you know who the president of the United States is?" And I go, "George Bush." And this is in 2015 still, about to be 2016, and like Obama's been president for what, like almost 8 years, like, and they all laughed at me in the ambulance, and I looked around, and I was like, "What?" And they were like, "It's Obama," and I was like, "Whoa!" Like,
close enough, right?
But yeah, it's just funny.
That's amazing, dude.
I'm thinking if I've missed anything, but like I went through it pretty quickly.
So what? I have some questions.
Go ahead, yeah.
So what? First of all, whatever happened, like, with side effects? Like, your first, say you woke up, and then, like, you literally woke up and just chilled in the hospital for a week?
Yeah, that's one crazy thing. I think, like, when I woke up, I did not feel, like, too bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like...
Did you have a headache?
Nah, like, I felt like... Well, there was some crazy things. Like, when I woke up, I had the freaking thing that went all the way up my nose and all around, and like that thing like bugged me out, but like there was no like actual like pain or anything that I was feeling when I woke up.
So did they wake you up, or
no? I just woke up.
So they essentially weaned you off after all your surgeries. They weaned you off of the thing that breathes for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would assume, yeah, because I remember I did not wake up with the breathing tube in me.
Well, yeah.
Actually, no. One time they did say I woke up and I grabbed it and I yanked it.
So I mean,
so I don't remember that though.
At that point, the doctor has to be like, "Dude, this kid's like probably gonna make it."
Yeah.
Like if you're pulling your.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, usually when you're on a respirator thing, like they pull that thing out and it's like kind of a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
Like from what
you know,
my experiences of people like tragically the people that I know that have been on those things, none of them have survived it.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But so, like, what? Just side effects wise, like I'm
so, like pretty much just the seizures. I've had a few seizures since then. The one of the scary seizures I had was October of 2016, almost a full year after the accident. I was surfing with Brian in Ocean City,
Yeah.
And I told you about this, right?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I got out of the water. It's funny. I used my GoPro that day. I have clips of me surfing that day. Got out of the water, get to my car before Brian was. Brian must have been coming like in 10 minutes after me. And I'm looking through all the clips in the GoPro in my car. And I remember I just black out as I'm looking through the clips. And Brian said he came up to my car, saw me in the driver's seat, just staring at a blank GoPro screen like I'm, you know what I mean? Like I'm like absolutely crazy. And he like knocked on the window and he was like, yo, like, what are you doing? And he said I like literally turned around, looked at him with like the craziest eyes of all time, and then just broke out into a seizure in my driver's seat.
Holy shit. Dude.
So like that's the craziest because like, yeah, I mean I was about to drive, so it's like.
Imagine.
You know what I mean?
I mean, well, there's so many moments in that story where like you were fully blessed with a lot of luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, just to mention the fact that you, I mean, with that much head trauma, like usually people, first of all, can't walk, can't talk, have to relearn everything, don't remember anything.
I know. That's the craziest thing I think is like how I just woke up. Besides a few memory losses, like with my cat and stuff.
Yeah.
That was it.
Which is just mind-boggling.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. And yeah, we'll dive into that other story about the second time I died at a different time.
So, I was going to bring this up at the end. But yeah, Mackie has another scenario where, like, I mean, you died before the time you died.
That was a drowning, yeah.
Before or after?
It was before. It was actually, funny thing is, like, it was the summer of, between when I graduated high school and when so it was only 2015 was pretty much the worst year of my life.
Yeah, it sounds heavy.
But it's actually crazy to think about. I want to say this too, is like, I've thought a lot about that, just the way it changed my life and the way that, like, if that never happened and, like, say I went to freaking San Diego State for 4 years, I would have graduated last June.
Yeah.
So I would have never been in Margate to meet you. Like, you know what I mean? I would never got any of those clips of you. I've never probably been working for my parents right now doing the stuff I'm doing. Like, I would probably be in a ton of debt, coming back home, trying to find a job. Just like, it's crazy it's really crazy how stuff works.
I mean, you know how I am, dude. I'm 100% everything happens for a reason. Like, it was meant to happen. And the other thing that I truly believe in is, like, dude, you're here for a reason, you know?
Yeah. I'm super stoked.
Yeah. Like, you have a lot to be grateful for sure. Dude, I'm actually, like, it's hard for me to even think right now because, like, you had me, like, I was in Mexico with your friend with the bloody shirt, like, dude, like, tripping, like, fully, like, chills, everything. I'm
glad I got like
nuts,
that.
Dude.
It is nuts.
It's good, dude. Like, I mean, we're stoked that you're alive, Mackie. I can say that.
I also think I have a few things I think is crazy, but it's like how I don't remember one thing, because, like, you know how people always say, like, sometimes they get, like, crazy, like, visions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the flick of, like, you know what I mean, a flick of a switch for me. It was like the snap of fingers. I was just like in Mexico, boom, I'm in San Diego, and I don't know, like, I don't even remember the accident at all.
Dude, you never know either, though. Like, obviously that accident was crazy, and, like, you almost died, or, like, did die but came back to life. But, like, what if you went down there and actually died? You know, like, what if you got to where you wanted to go? Like, that accident could have stopped something worse from happening.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I don't know. I remember that the first time I saw Federico, like, this is another reason, like you say, with my side effects. When the first time Federico came into the hospital, I had, like, my mom's iPad. I was looking at, like, the Surfline forecast. And, again, this is 2 weeks after it happened. And I saw, like, Mexico got, like, a good to epic. Probably, like, a couple of days before. Probably, like, nowhere near we were going to be down there. But Federico comes in and I show him it. I'm like, dude, did we miss this?
Just scared about missing the bombs.
Yeah.
That's amazing shit, dude. I mean, we pretty much can't, like, top any conversation's not going to top that. So,
yeah, pretty much.
In my eyes, this would be a great place to wrap it up.
I think so too.
Mackie, truly appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you for listening to my story, everybody.
Yeah, like, that is some seriously heavy shit. I mean, everyone in our group, all of our crew, and everybody, I'm sure everybody watching is super grateful to have you here on Earth with us.
Thank you, guys.
The dream is real, dude.
Yes, it is.
You died. You're back.
I'm living the dream again.
You're living the dream. And
oh yeah.
Where can we follow you, Mackie?
You can follow me at Mackie_films on Instagram and Mackie Films on YouTube too.
And I'm gonna have all of Mackie's information down here in the comment section, or not the the little thing below, right down there. But thank you, Mackie. Truly appreciated.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys. Well, you'll be seeing him again. I don't know how soon, but you'll see him again for his other story about how he died, like the summer before he died.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. Fully Nuking Podcast, episode 3. We'll see you.
You. Alrighty.
Legendary.